Just wanted to do an overview of what my toolbox entail. We'll start off over here. This is kind of one of the first boxes I had, and right now it's just kind of extra tools, stuff that was supposed to be in my work truck, but ended up being bosses didn't want my personal tools in the truck, so they've come in here. So it's just extra stuff that someone wants to borrow a tool, kind of send them this way. Bunch of Mastercraft stuff that I got on sale. And then up here is just a assortment of screwdrivers that I used to use for work. They actually held up pretty good for the price. They weren't bad at all. Below are just some miscellaneous files and pliers as well. And this drawer is just a pile of body tools. There are sanding discs and tape and sanding blocks. So then these two drawers are just junk drawers, receipts and whatnot. And here's another full screwdriver set, and then the wrenches that went along with the set on top. In this drawer I have kind of your oddball metric wrenches for those tighter situations that just need something a little bit different, and then an extra set of Mac wrenches and a few clutch alignment tools, and then a snap-on 3/8 drive low clearance socket set. And the bottom drawer is mainly body tools, bunch of hammers and dollies, set of snap-on files, and then just interior trim pieces and different types of body tools, some scrapers. From there we'll go over to basically my main box. Decided to go with one of these after exploring different job opportunities and realizing my triple bay box didn't fit in a lot of shops, so I thought I'd give myself another option, and I kind of wanted a tool cart to work out of. Up here is just a bunch of electrical tools and just miscellaneous kind of oddball tools. I have a butane soldering torch there, and then underneath here is a digital micrometer, and then just a couple of bits, X-Acto knife, spark tester and mirror, and razor, and a bunch of just kind of miscellaneous little tools. Great tools if you are an alignment guy. So I used to use these for getting a little bit better measurements for your camber on your front wheel drive cars on McPherson struts. And then stud installer tool, just some various strippers and crimpers, heat shrink, solder, and a couple little butt connectors for some of those situations where you just don't need to solder. On the side here I have some 8-piece or 9-piece Torx set from Snap-on, and on the side there I'll have a Snap-on serpentine belt remover, and then a low profile ratchet and magnets, and low profile Torx ratchet, and then I have a variety of ratchets, mainly 3/8 and one 18-inch 1/2 inch. So this right here used to be my go-to ratchet, but I've since picked up this guy right here. It's a quarter drive with a 3/8 head. Find that to be very useful. 3/8 swivel impacts, shallow and deep. Just kind of found I needed a few of the deeps, and it wasn't. They had a special deal. You buy that and got a 3/8 this 3/8 set of impacts free. And so I said, well, the sizes I use most, it's not a whole lot more to buy the extra ones I needed. So I bought both sets. Use those quite frequently. Here I've got metric, shallow, semi-deep, and then ended up with 2 sets of deeps. And then we've got a 1/2-inch swivel shallow impacts. That was kind of the first really expensive tool that I bought, and I have used those extensively, and they've been an absolute lifesaver. Down here is a set of quarter drive Wobble Plus extensions. I don't use my 1/4 inch a whole lot, so that's why it's still in the wrapper there. And it was buy one get one free, and I think I was looking for these, and those came with it. But if you're looking to save some money, I would suggest buy the long one and buy the short one. So those are the two that I use extensively. Back wrapped up in the corner here, I have a 24-inch snap-on 1/2-inch drive ratchet. So I actually just picked that up, so I haven't had a chance to use it a whole lot. But and this here is a 1/2-inch to 3/8 36-inch extension. And then in here I also have just a regular 3/8 36-inch extension, and then a 24 and an 18-inch as well. I find those are very handy for doing CV shafts on Volkswagens. I had a cheap set, but unfortunately, so you don't strip out the bolts on the axles, you kind of pound them with a hammer, and I've had the ends mushroom on me, so I couldn't actually get my ratchet on anymore. So I upgraded to a little higher quality and haven't had that problem since. Along here on just on these Mings is just a few specialty sockets and just oddballs for various jobs. This socket rail right here is part of my original Craftsman set of sockets. So I was 14, I was restoring a Mini, and parents bought me a full set to help me work on the car as I ended up restoring it for my first car. On the back here on the magnet is a set of metric low clearance 3/8 drive sockets. So I haven't used them a whole lot, but I've had several instances where they've saved my bacon. This here is a Mastercraft 1/2-inch drive metric and SAE impact socket set. Ended up getting this up on sale for, I think it was around $60, and I've been using it for better part of 10 years, and haven't had a problem. The biggest problem I've had is every once in a while someone will borrow one and won't return it, or you'll lose it, and that's kind of where I've sat with those. So I haven't had any break. The only problem is sometimes you have there's a little too much chamfer here, so if you've got a shallow bolt that you're trying to get off, it can be a little bit tough to get off. But there's only a few, and I've bought this one here for 17 mil for that instance. back here I have a set of just regular snap-on screwdrivers. I've actually become quite a fan of the Instinct handles. Back in here's a set of snap-on pry bars. So they're just a little cap stuck on it. So I ended up with both an orange set and a green set. Picked up off of Craigslist for a price that I couldn't say no to. And then here's just a set of miscellaneous bits. Let's see, it was a $4 buy. So I haven't really needed a whole lot of them, but it's one of those things, if you ever need one of those oddballs, it's $4 well spent. From there, I move on to my wrench drawer. Let's say kind of lacking in space here, but managed to make it work. I have a set of stubby gear wrench metric ratcheting wrenches. So I've had those for almost 15 years, and they've held up well. I don't use them a lot, but when you need them, they're definitely handy. I have a set of metric 15-degree offset box end wrenches. And then underneath that is my standard wrenches. And then up to 3/4, they're the snap-on Blank Drive Plus wrenches, and then the ones behind that are Mastercraft Maxim, and I've actually had really good luck with those. That's my kind of first quality set that I bought, and if I had to say what they're closest to is probably a Blue Point equivalent. I've had people say that they were made by Blue Point, but I don't know for sure. But I used them hard and never had a problem with them. And then here's my metric Blank Drive Plus, and then just a variety of flare wrenches. Here is my my ratcheting wrenches. So the smaller sizes are Mac. I've actually quite liked those ones. They have a little bit of extra grip on the open ends, and then I liked the flex head, and they're fairly low profile here to get in at tight bolts. And then a few of the oddball sizes. We had a Mac salesman selling these for about $4 a wrench, and I've had these for going on about 10 years, and they're still holding up. So I'm sure they're not the best quality, but they've been good enough. If I had any high torque situations, I'd use a regular wrench to break the nut free, and then I'd use those. Here is just your extra long metric snap-on wrenches. When you need a little extra torque, they come in handy. My only complaint is they only go up to 19. I found 21 and 22 were my most common ones for when I needed high leverage situations. So I've come up with other solutions for that. Then here is just metric and standard stubby wrenches. The standard are snap-on, and the metric are Mastercraft Maxim, and they seem to do the trick. Next drawer is starting to get full. These are my everyday screwdrivers. I've had these. These are probably one of the first sets of the Instinct handled soft grips that came out, and they've held up pretty decent. I haven't had any problem with any of the tips. You know, the handles kind of got chewed up, but they're livable. And then here I just have a set of Torx and my quarter drive shallow and deep metric. and inverted Torx, and a set of Mac triple squares. And I ended up getting those cheap off the Mac truck because he damaged the blow molding case. And so I think he gave those to me for about 15 bucks. Just some metric Allens, and then some little bit longer metric Allen keys. So yeah, I just have a variety of pliers. These are probably one of my favorite pairs of pliers. Yeah, you see the part number there, but salesman tried to give me a thing to get me to buy some wire strippers, and I said no, I want these ones, and so they pretty much grab anything, and then they have the triple slot, so give you a lot of extra leeway for trying to get around things. And then yeah, most of my other pliers here are Mac. We managed to get a big set for, I think it was $100, and for the most part they've been all right. I know guys kind of complain about them, but they've done what I've needed them to do. These right here are a set of Blue Point. I use these for alignments, adjusting tie rods. So probably one of my favorite tools for that. So just some miscellaneous DeWalt bits. A couple flashlights. I have a Coast and a Streamlight. My preference is the Streamlight. I just like how it feels in your fingers. It's like more like a pen or a pencil. It makes it real easy to hold it and shine into places. The Coast gives off awesome light, but it just finds it a little bulky and just doesn't have that nice feel in the hands. Got a couple sets of picks here, just mini picks. When you need them, they're definitely handy. It's nice to have kind of a couple kicking around, because there's just times when you need to. Underneath I have just some extra long Torx. So they were smoking deal off the tool truck, so I picked them up. Set of seal removers and set of Nipex pliers. Unfortunately, I'm running out of space, so I've got stuff double stacked. Underneath is the Snap-on large radiator pick set. So those are definitely a handy tool. But this will probably be one of the last iterations of this, as I've gone back to a bigger box, so I'll be switching this stuff over here in the future. In the bottom drawer I have it nice and full. So I just picked up a set of extra long pliers and diagonal needle nose. Here is a set of standard both 3/8 and 1/2 inch swivels. So I don't do a lot with standard anymore, so they kind of hide down here. And here is my digital multimeter and a test light. And a few jumper wires just for different applications. It's a nice computer safe test light. Sometimes, you know, you just need to know if it's got power or not. And then just another test light for kind of the same thing, just a little different variation of it. Set of Robertson screwdrivers. So very valuable working on the house in Canada, as we like the Robertson bits up here. And then also just recently picked up the trim removal kit. So I haven't had a chance to use that, but so like I said, it was on one of the last tool truck visits. And a bunch of this stuff in here is what it is. A set of posi drive screwdrivers, and then just a clean set of screwdrivers. So I think those ones actually came free with something else I bought. So, but I definitely like these screwdrivers, so I didn't pass up the opportunity to pick those up. Underneath in the back here, I have my 1/2-inch torque wrench. And it's just the, I guess they call it the split beam. Let's say for the majority of my stuff, this is a great torque wrench. So you don't have to wind it down every time when you're done using it. So it makes it great for torquing wheels and other applications where you need to torque them, like axle nuts and whatnot. And then in here is my 3/8 digital torque wrench. So that's usually where your finer torque measurements comes in handy for that. In here is my Power Probe 3. There's lots of people can show you those on the internet. Just a set of Allen keys. I think those were Craftsman Allen keys and a Husky holder, but I just liked how it was easier to figure out what they were with the Husky, so I moved them all into there. In here is just a Precision Drive torque screwdriver set. Use that to work on my laptop. And then I've got a variety of pliers here, and pipe wrenches. So now I'm kind of in the gas trade, so they're a little bit more handy for me now. I'm used to using them for alignment, so they always came in handy. Underneath, I've got a variety of hammers. See, these ones are always nice. You need a little extra persuasion, especially when you're trying to beat panels back in after crashing the rally car. Assortment of hammers. I personally prefer the old style handles, like the wood handles. They're just a little easier on the wrists. And then I've got some snap-on ball peen dead blow hammers, and then a fairly inexpensive code reader. Does give me live data, so it is handy. For the most time I work on Volkswagen, so I use my Vagcom rubber mallet, and then just a few more pliers for hose clamps and oil filters. This is actually my preferred wrench. We bought one for the shop that was had the ends that they could rotate, and I absolutely hated that. So if you're looking at that, that's probably a waste of money. I wouldn't recommend it. And then just a couple nut drivers and a torque stick for Volkswagen. So that's the majority of what I work on these days. So underneath I have just a variety of junk. The bottom there is a master ball joint set, and just a couple or a little transfer pump for transferring fluids from one place to another. I got a pneumatic air brake bleeder, battery tester, and grease gun, and then a few funnel sets and a lot of my fluids I keep under here. And then there's a tire repair kit and a couple of snipes and whatnot. And then this one was kind of I bought this because I had a bunch of specialty tools or whatever, and they didn't really fit well in the toolbox, and